I'm Elamin Abdelmahmoud, and this is Commotion, and this is TIFF and 12. It's our bonus podcast. It's our opportunity to go deeper into the Toronto International Film Festival, all the movies that have people talking, all the big red carpet moments, and this is it. This is like the very busy opening weekend, and it is not busy for me because I'm at home, and I have a broken foot, and I don't want to talk about it, but you know what? Rad and Teri is here, and Terry Hart is here, and they have a busy weekend, and so instead, I will say hello to both of you. I'm excited for your busy weekend, and I'm not jealous at all. I promise. I don't know if it shows on my face, but I'm not jealous at all whatsoever.
Hello. We're carrying the baton.
You look happy for me.
I am happy for you. Terry, I do not need you to carry the baton for me. I am
carrying your baton. I am carrying Rad's baton. I am baton laden.
You're baton laden. It's heavy. It's heavy is the crown. Heavy is the head. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. Okay, let's start with last night, because last night, John Candy, the film, the documentary about John Candy, I Like Me, opened the festival. Rad, you were at that screening. You were not the only one at that screening. Prime Minister Mark Carney was there. What? What happened?
That was a surprise. Like, he came out to introduce the movie John Candy, I Like Me. And of course, he turned it into a moment where we could try and hold on to some of our civic pride. He said, hey, you know, John Candy in his movies, he's always standing up to those rich, arrogant bullies. And Canada right now, we've been channeling our inner John Candy with our elbows up and all. So, you know, it's funny. I posted a clip online. Everyone's calling him so corny for it. But the people in the room, they were eating that up. They were lapping that up.
First of all, it's spelled Carney, not corny. Second of all, I'm obsessed
exactly
with your impression of the elbows up. It looks great.
I think I did a chicken dance, actually. Elbows up is a chicken dance.
Well, Terry, you actually saw the movie. Let's talk about it. How did you feel about the movie?
I did. I saw it at the earlier screening. Ryan Reynolds, the producer, and Colin Hanks, the director, came out, as well as John Candy's two children. I really loved this movie. I was surprised at how emotional I was watching it. This is not a movie that's examining any dark side to John Candy. In fact, there is like a running gag through it with Bill Murray saying like nobody ever has anything bad to say about John Candy. And you really get that sense throughout. There are some awkward and uncomfortable interview clips of interviewers asking him terrible, terrible questions. And other than that, it is really about his impact, how much he was, you know, this Johnny Toronto character. And what struck me was how much Ryan, who has been on record since he became famous, that John Candy really was his muse, his inspiration, how much Ryan Reynolds has mirrored so much of his career after John Candy, including buying a sports team. Like, it is, you know, it's really, really obvious. And I think that shows how much Ryan does like wear his heart on his sleeve about things, and certainly about John Candy. And I was really moved. And I think that when people do see this outside of the film festival, it's dropping on Amazon the beginning of October. This will be a beloved bio-documentary in the same way that the Celine Dion documentary was.
I like this trajectory of you yesterday being like, I'm not sure about the professed Canadianness of this movie. And now you know, like today, I like that you're singing a different tune. I like that you're like, hey, despite the fact that it's not. I know. I
never said anything about the movie. I said the movie doesn't qualify as CanCon.
I don't know. I mean, as a movie, as celebratory of Toronto as that movie is, it feels like the most Toronto movie out of even all the Canadian slate that we've seen.
Sure. Oh, wow. I don't disagree with any of that. It is Canada. Last night we saw it not just with John Candy, I Like Me, but also with Mile End Kick celebrating Montreal in the way it does, and Nirvana showing Toronto in the way it does. I mean, last night was about Canada the Cool, for sure.
Okay. Let's switch to that, actually, because, again, this is TIFF and 12. We don't have that much time. So I want to talk about Mile End Kicks because that's Chandler Levack's movie. Chandler Levack, you know, has a trajectory that so many people dream of, which is like you go from being an entertainment writer and critic to being like, I'm going to make movies, and actually they're going to be acclaimed. And then the first one, I Like Movies, featured, has this gigantic reaction. This is the second one, a Barbie Ferrer movie. I've loved the reactions that I'm seeing online. Rad, maybe I'll go to you. What's your reaction to Mile End Kicks?
I really, you know, what I was really taken by is how well Barbie Ferrer captures Chandler Levack. Not just the look the expression. She's wearing Chandler's t-shirts that I remember from when she was younger. Like I was just like, I mean, it was this. Like I said, this is an eerie experience for me, which is partly why, like,
because Chandler.
Because I'm not well, but like I was in those scenes, in part of those scenes, so it was eerie in that way. And it's interesting. Like I don't know that I connected with this one as much as I like movies, only because like I feel like in this one she's fully realizing what she did in I Like Movies, right? I Like Movies was kind of like the test run, and in I Like Movies she made that male character both the person she's fighting against, the male critics, obnoxious, snobby person she's always having to battle against, and she made him herself. Like that character had both of those things, and I found that very fascinating. Where in this movie it stretches it out and just really taps into her experience of being always spoken down to by men in the room. It didn't kind of like land the ending as well for me, but it's still a great showcase for all of Chandler's storytelling skills.
Terry, real quick on this movie, do you feel like she goes a little bit deeper than I Like Movies on this one?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought that, I mean, this really captured for me a time, I've spoken on this show various times about my own obsession with Alanis Morissette. Alanis Morissette is what the character in Mile End Kicks is supposed to be writing a book about Jagged Little Pill and goes to Montreal to do this. My very slight criticism of I Like Movies was that she made her first movie about a film bro. And I was like, where are you in this? And
it was so sweet. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
For Mile End Kicks, this is Chandler. This is her digging deep and being willing to tell that story in a way that is brave. It is, it is something for a person who has been, diminished and othered and marginalized to then come out and make a movie about the people who have done that to her. And those people are going to watch this movie.
I want to talk about Sydney Sweeney, actually, if you don't mind, because Sydney Sweeney was there yesterday at the Mile End Kicks premiere because Barbie Ferreira, her pal, is in that movie. But also, Sydney Sweeney herself has got a big movie that is supposed to be coming out during this festival. And that's Christy. Do you want to talk about that, Terry, about the expectations for Sydney Sweeney in this movie? Because it's a big moment.
Expectations are through the roof. Of course, Sydney Sweeney's been in the news for all the wrong reasons in the past couple of months, and she's trying to change that. I mean, this movie was obviously made before the controversy, but people are talking about an Oscar nomination. I'm seeing it at 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm jumping off this recording and going down to the Princess of Wales because I'm assuming there's going to be a wall of fans there for Sydney Sweeney.
The movie's called Christy. She plays Christy
movie.
Martin, the boxer. Yes. Yeah.
So it goes into the canon of, pugilistic movies that we've seen. Oftentimes they go on to be celebrated by awards. So we will see if Sydney Sweeney pulls any punches.
Boo!
She laughed at her own pun. I love it.
I liked it. I think it's worth noting that, like, first of all, Sydney Sweeney did actually talk about the controversy, which, if you don't know what the controversy, we did an episode on it, but the whole sort of, American Eagle controversy. She gave a statement to Vanity Fair. She said, I'm here to support my movie and the people involved in making it. I'm not there to talk about jeans, And so that's the statement that she has sort of given. Rad, what's your anticipation for this movie? Because as Terry just said, when people turn really ugly, when beautiful people turn really ugly, they tend to win Oscars for it. Like, we're thinking here, of like Monster, Charlize Theron. Like,
Right.
Get the makeup going, and then that gets you the Oscar. Is this going to be the equivalent of that, you think?
Well, first, I'm going to give, I think that's what they want it to be, but I'm going to give you a very inside baseball thing. I think if it had those chops, it wouldn't be premiering at 2 p.m. on a Friday. You know what I mean? Like, the placement of this movie does not bode well for that, especially with it being a world premiere. Like, one of the few world premieres that TIFF actually scored, and they put it at the red carpet at 2 p.m. on a working day. Like, that doesn't bode well. And then, this director of the movie, David Michaud, has had a shoddy kind of track record on that stuff. But I will say I am very fascinated. I'm very fascinated with this movie, especially because I've been very fascinated with the Sydney Sweeney trajectory in terms of, how this is an actress whose body is constantly politicized, whose body is, entitled. Voices claim her body as the death of woke and all vice versa. And we're seeing it happen again with the jeans thing. And I've always been interested in how her movies are largely about how she tries to resist. If you watch a movie like Immaculate, how she tries to resist the stuff and the meaning and the things that people impose on her body. Immaculate. I feel like a movie like Christy, where it's about a boxer who's had a very controlling man in her life. There's a lot of stories that there's a trajectory in some of the movie choices that Sydney Sweeney takes on and produces that I think makes an interesting narrative that speaks to all the controversy that exists around her on the internet.
I'm glad you brought up Immaculate because it was a sort of an example of what Sydney Sweeney does to say, like, hey, I am a little bit in charge of my narrative here, and I don't want to be just kind of, this feather sort of floating in the wind of how people talk about me. I just want to hear from you guys without you making me feel too bad about, like, what are you looking forward to the most this weekend? Teri, I'll start with you.
Oh, this weekend is jam-packed. I will say that.
Great.
I'm going to be I'm going to be at the red carpet for The Lost Bus, which is the Paul Greengrass, Matthew McConaughey movie tonight. I'm also going to see the Cillian Murphy movie Steve, which I'm interested in. Roofman happens. Good Fortune happens. Hamlet. Rental Family, Sacrifice, Hedda. Oh, I'm going to go to the Hedda party because that's going to be a fun one.
I'm so mad at you right now.
Yeah, you're going to.
I'm mad at whoever invited you and didn't invite me, but that's a whole other story.
That's the perpetual Rad story. Okay, Rad, what are you looking forward to?
Well, since she named all the movie, I'm looking forward to brunch. Okay.
That's, you know what? That's
you
not
have
too bad
time
at
to
all.
eat brunch?
I mean,
What is this?
It's brunch with movie stars that I schedule in. So I schedule in parties as eating breaks between movies and writing. That's where I get my food. And other parties, I just hope I can make it if I don't have to write.
I'm also really, really committed to no more heels because I wore heels last night and I'm so mad at myself from my knees down. Oh, that's bad. I'm so sorry, Elamin.
Yeah, is that hard for you, Teri? Is it so difficult for you to have to
show our
switch
feet
to sneakers?
Yeah, we got shoes on, not boots.
Both of you put your feet down. I have a splint. I'm gonna go. We're gonna end this conversation here. Rad, Teri, this is wonderful. We'll talk on Monday. Thank you so much, you guys.
Sounds good.
All right, Rad 7 Play and Teri Hart are covering TIFF for Commotion. We are going to be back on Monday with another edition of TIFF in 12. We'll see you then.